I'm going to walk through a website redesign that we did for Dogwood Cabins. They hired us to do marketing, and a part of that was a website revamp. And also in the process, we decided to update their logo as well. So I'm just going to walk through some of my thoughts and some of the reasons why we did certain changes. I'm hoping this will be valuable and you can take some of these thoughts and implement them into your own website. This is Dogwood's current site, a pretty straightforward and simplistic website. So the first step that we'd like to do is to create a wireframe. And that is essentially just the bare basics of how the website will flow, along with some design inspiration that I've added, and also some things that our client told us that he liked. I just split this up into sections and then highlighted the main call to action for each section, because that's important to understand. If you have a section on your website, you want to ask the question, why is it there and what purpose is it serving? A lot of the principles that I use to lay this out are from the book Building a Story Brand, which I highly recommend to help clarify your message and make sure you're telling your customers and your potential customers the most important thing and the thing that they want to hear, and not just what you want them to hear. So I won't get into much detail here because I'll show you the actual design afterwards, but I did want to just show you kind of the thought process behind it and doing some research and grabbing some things that all kind of are cohesive and look good together just as a starting place, so it's easier to start the design. And if a client likes this, then we're able to move forward with confidence. And if they don't, then we're able to tweak a few things here and know that before going into the full-on design, so we're not wasting time. Also added over here, this app, by the way, is really cool. It's just freeform. It's an Apple app. There's other ones like it, but it essentially allows you to copy and paste links in here, which this is different website inspiration that the client liked or that I liked. Different design elements that I liked down here that didn't necessarily correlate with a specific thing on the homepage. And then over here is just a hodgepodge of notes. There's not necessarily any great organization over here to point out a style guide, some after meeting with the client, understanding what they are wanting. And then usually when designing a website, I pick a few of and you'll see this when I show you the main website, but I pick a few main colors and then a few accent colors to use sparingly for calls to action so they stand out. And to keep it simple, instead of asking a lot of different things in a lot of different ways, the main calls to action on this website are obviously to book. And the next one is getting a customer to look at their curated trips. And I'll go into more detail when we look at the website design. So here's the website design. They're celebrating their 30th anniversary, so I made almost a logo for this whole entire year to promote the fact that they've been around for 30 years. That's a big deal. And so implementing it in their branding for this whole year is definitely wise and speaks to their authority in the area. Another thing to point out here is the booking. A lot of people don't have a booking option full front and center or very obvious. Sometimes you have to scroll down and find it. If your whole website is to get people to book with you, it needs to be the first thing you see and very prominent. And that's what I was talking about with the color. I use the color red pretty sparingly. I use it for main titles and I use it for call to action buttons, the main call to action buttons. And then secondary call to action, which is curated trips, are green. They blend in a little bit more. They're still prominent, but they're not as prominent as booking, getting people to book. And there's a study done. It's in a book called Marketing Made Simple by Donald Miller. And it's basically the Z pattern. People do the Z pattern with their eyes. They start at the top left, go to the top right, which is the book now, and then go across diagonally here. And you want another call to action in the middle. And then they follow this way. If you look at a lot of people's analytics and scroll patterns, you'll see that most people, the majority, never scroll past the top section. So if you're not having your book now buttons or call to action buttons in the top section of your website without having to scroll, then you're missing out on the majority of the people visiting your website. Moving down, this speaks, forget the planning, towns and adventures curated for you. This speaks to a pain point. A lot of people do not like to plan trips. They like to go on trips, but a lot of people do not like to take care of all the logistics. So we came up with this idea to create these curated trips. We decided to create branding for each adventure. So the family adventure, these are activities for the whole family. The time traveler, a journey through history, looking at historical places, historical locations. And so we designed and researched and created 6 of these so far, and we'll continue to help them create more as we grow. This obviously gets people excited about booking a trip. And then when you go into these individual pages with all of these tips and locations and ideas, the main call to action within those pages are to book with them, and it gives them feature properties to stay at. And so ultimately it is a place to promote booking, but it's a fun way that hopefully people who are even looking for fun things to do in Townsend will find themselves on these curated trip pages and hopefully find themselves booking with Dogwood. Again, this is another section highlighting the fact that they've been around for 30 years, showing some actual historical photos of Townsend. So this builds trust and lets the potential customer know that they're in good hands and will be taken care of. Having a featured lodging section is probably always a good idea. This is not how it's actually going to look with 3 of the same, but this is just to get the idea of what this section would look like. Another important thing for them was to attract new homeowners. So there's a whole section dedicated to joining the Dogwood family. Newsletter section. I would say most people, when they see a newsletter sign up, their first instinct is to not put their email in there. So the call to action, in my opinion, should never just be join our newsletter. There should be some sort of incentive. And so we've highlighted that by you can save 10% by signing up for their newsletter. A lot of rental companies offer 10% to repeat guests, but first-time guests, this is a great way. Even if they don't book immediately with that 10% discount, you'll at least have their email and you can start marketing or continue to market to them. And so when they do decide to book a trip, hopefully you'll be at the forefront of their mind. And here's another highlight for the curated adventures. It's a smaller, more subtle way to display them. When I go into stores and see like this is our staff favorite, or a movie store. There's no movie stores these days, but when you go in and see this is our staff's favorite movies for the week, I always like looking at those. I always like looking at, these are employees that work here and they like these things. And so I wanted to do that with these adventures. I don't know that it's helpful. I have no data to back that up, but I thought it was a cool idea. So we'll see how that works out. And then the footer. Obviously, the main thing that sticks out here is the Book Now button, and then all the necessary links and things in the footer. We've made changes and updated things since this version, but this encompasses most of the things that we've done and highlights everything that they wanted to highlight from our website wireframe that they approved. Along with the curated trip branding titles, there's also an icon for each one. So if you scroll up here, there's this just almost like a logo for each one. And then there's a little icon that indicates the adventure as well. Just a fun little branding thing. Wasn't necessary, but I think little details like this speak to excellence and caring about what they have to offer. I guess that's pretty much it. Let us know if you need any help with your website or marketing. We'd love to help.